Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib.
From Boston.
And we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call in and ask questions, you can call in right now, 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 8:30 tonight. And tonight, we're going to talk about Showtime releases their fight schedule. It's not bad. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I mean, it could be worse, could be better, but it could be worse. Not too bad. Some good fights on there. And Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua have finally agreed, and the fight will happen. So that's going to be good, man. That's going to be good. We'll talk more about that later. First, we get started with Triller. Beef, how crazy is it that we're getting started with this fight, man? Triller. Your boy, Ben Askren. Champion zone, baby. Look at that. Stipe Miocic representing Ohio, baby. Representing Ohio. Jake Paul, son. The cows in Ohio are different, man. The milk is different here, son. We are a different breed, son. Different breed. Titletown, baby. Titletown zone. Jake Paul needed just one round, daddy. One round to take out an overmatched Ben Askren. I tell you what, I could have told you on Friday at the weigh-in that Askren wasn't going to win this fight. Beeb, I think you probably thought the same thing. He came in at 191. It looked like he hadn't trained at all. He looked like he just rolled off the couch into the ring, man. Once he got into the ring, it was pretty apparent he didn't train at all because he couldn't throw a punch to save his life. He didn't have very good movement. It was downhill for him. And listen, man, Jake Paul's not the greatest boxer out there. He's not the greatest amateur. He's not the greatest pro. But the guy, listen, he does this probably every day. He's in training. He does this every day. Listen, if he does it every day, chances are he's going to be better than you. And he does this every day. He's bringing in good trainers. He's bringing in sparring partners, everything like that. When you're on that kind of path like that, listen, man, you've got to be ready for this guy. I mean, you got to put something together here. And Ben Askren, I think he was, honestly, I don't even think he took him for granted. I think he was just there for a payday. It was awful, man. You know, Askren was really good in MMA because he's a high-level technical wrestler. He's very, very, like, high level, almost like Olympic caliber. I don't know if he was in the Olympics or not, but he's that high. He's a really good wrestler. But boxing, man, not so much, man. Jake Paul caught him with a straight overhand right. It looked like just kind of tapped him. He thought he was going to the body, popped him in his head, overhand right, put Askren down. Now Askren beat the count, and to his credit, he beat the count. Honestly, I thought they stopped it a little quick, but he wasn't beating Jake Paul, man. What was the point of going on with that, man? It wasn't that. Beeb, I want you to talk to me about Titletown. Talk to me. Why does the best state ever? The best state in the U.S. This is where the champions are. What does it say? Champion bred, son. This is where the champs come down.
No question about that. But, I mean, if you listen to the Beating the Odds with Beeb on Friday, I think
Absolutely.
it was we did it on Thursday.
You had it nailed.
There was no way you were going to lose this bet. There was no way you were going to lose this bet if you took the betting advice for Beating the Odds with Beeb. Thank you, D-Style.
D-Style, thank you so much.
Thank you, Notorious VC. Jake Paul, the problem child?
Problem child. Early candidate for Fighter of the Year. 100%. 100%. He's beating name guys. Of course, he's Fighter of the Year.
So here's the thing, Eric. You heard this term, and you hear it get thrown around a lot. Real fighter, right? Now, what actually is a real fighter? I know what people mean when they say that in regards, and what they did mean in regards to this event. Like, Ben Askren had a professional career in MMA, extensive. Okay, he was a wrestler, whatever. But when you look at the word real fighter, I consider a real fighter. If I jump in the car right now, right, and take a 15-minute ride to Blue Hill Ave, and I'm walking down the street, there's some mean motherfuckers on that street that are gonna jump out, and they're gonna, if they're going to fight for real. They're going to jack me up and try to kill me. That's what a real fight, like, do you think if Mayweather and Maidana ever fought in the street, I would pick Maidana all day. If Conor McGregor or Floyd Mayweather fought in the street, I would pick Conor McGregor all day
long.
You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about real fighting, real fighter, it's not really based on having rules, time limits, a referee to stop the action when you can't continue. So when you hear the term real fighter, it wasn't a real fight last night. It was a boxing match. Okay? So that's the whole thing. When you sit there and hear this stuff, real this, real that, people try to put labels on everything. What this was a boxing match. And you could say what you want about Jake Paul. He's not world class. He probably will never be a world champion. He won't be a world champion ever. No. He's not going to be able to fight at the high level. No. But again, could he beat a lower level professional? Can he fight guys that are on his level? Can he beat them? Yes. I mean, based off of the experience he has, I think he's been fighting for 2 years. Only been training hard and training like a professional and fighting for 2 years. I mean, the guy's 3-0 as a professional now. He's got 3 knockouts, whatever. So he has a box rack. He does have a career. But the thing is this. When you look at him based off of the experience he's had, he's totally overexceeded my expectations. Now, that doesn't mean that he's a world-class fighter or he ever will be a world-class fighter. And when they asked him, is he elite? Of course he's not elite. But the thing is this. It is what it is. What you see is what you get. The guy does have proper technique when he throws his punches. He has good balance. He actually displays, skills. He has proper technique. When you look at him, he's not embarrassing himself in there.
No, not at all.
He's embarrassing some of the opponents he's fighting. That's fine. But then you can say, well, those guys have no experience. But how much experience does he have? He has no amateur background. He's been doing this for a little over around 2 years now. Okay? So for him to pick up what he's picked up in such a short period of time, I give the guy credit. I mean, he was setting up his shots. He was jabbing to the body. He was varying up his punches. He was moving well. He wasn't tripping over himself. He had balance. He moved smoothly in there. He displays boxing skills. He looks like a boxer when he's fighting. Right. He's not going in there and flailing his arms and, swinging for the fences and looking like a tough man contestant. What he's doing in there to me is boxing. Ben Askren had zero striking ability. His striking ability is very, very poor. Watching him hit mitts, watching him hit pads, just watching him try to box, really, it's painful to look at.
It was bad. I mean, real bad.
So you had all these MMA guys because they don't want to go against their the brotherhood of MMA fighters because he's an MMA fighter. You got guys like Chael Sonnen, you got Dana White, obviously, you got Daniel Cormier, all these guys. Oh, Ben Askren's gonna kill him. He's a real fighter. You got friggin' the hell's the guy's name? Joe Rogan's friend there, the Brendan Schaub. All these MMA guys. All these MMA guys are just going to go with the MMA guy because that's, he's in their circle, right? You and I are great friends, right? I consider you a good friend.
Absolutely.
You call me up one day and you say, hey, B, I'm going to fight Mike Tyson. As much as I love you as a person, I'm not going to say, yeah, man, you can beat him. I'm going to say, my response to you is, I hope you get paid a lot because you're going to get your fucking ass kicked. So these guys, just because they're MMA fighters, they're going to sit there and try to go with the MMA guy. But, again, same thing with Brendan Schaub when Conor McGregor was fighting Floyd Mayweather. I mean, you got to separate, the heart from the head sometimes. Yeah. The guy just had horrible striking skills. Boxing.
Well,
ability.
What gets me though is that, listen, if this was in a cage or if this was out in the street, Askren kills this guy.
100%.
Because Askren can wrestle like nobody's business. But the point is, okay, so he's a high level wrestler. this guy is a high-level wrestler, okay, which means he's a high level, and we know he's a high-level athlete, okay? You would think that like somebody focused on it could really pick this up and move with it. I don't think he trained for this. I don't think he. I mean,
This
and who
was
cares if he did or did? This was
strictly a cash out. Strictly
payola,
it.
for sure. Come on, man.
That's it.
Come on.
He didn't even try. He didn't even try to win this fight. He didn't even try to look respectable at all.
Not even a little bit.
At all.
Not even a little bit. It was awful.
So what are these MMA guys going to say about him now?
Yeah, I think a lot of them want to fight now. I think a lot of them want to get paid and everything like that. I mean, listen, what about Askren got $500,000 for it? I mean, that ain't chump change. I'll take $500,000. I'd go in there with
Jake Paul
for $500,000. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and Jake Paul got like $690,000 plus a share of the pay-per-view revenue.
That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money.
He's going to make well over $1 million for an 8-round fight. For an 8-round fight that went 1 round.
Right. For a 2-minute destruction, Yeah.
How can anyone hate on this kid? What he's doing is genius. It's pure genius.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Why
Listen, man. You get people to like you. That's it. That's it. He's a YouTube guy.
I just want to touch on this real quick. And I don't want to spend too much time on it, but we talked about the whole Triller thing with Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
Why are they putting that fight on there? Why are they putting so much money up on that? But if you've seen recently, they had Holyfield and McBride on that undercard. Well, not even on the undercard. It's almost like a twin bill the way they're advertising it. Did you know that Holyfield McBride is going to be on that same card?
Yeah, it's going to be Holyfield McBride and then Teofimo. Yeah.
So what I was thinking is all along they wanted Holyfield Tyson to be on that card because Holyfield said, we tried to get Tyson.
Sure.
That fell through. So then we went to the guy who beat Tyson. The last guy to beat Tyson was Kevin McBride. So the way they're promoting it, it's almost like it's a twin bill. Like, because when you think about it, obviously, Teofimo's the main event, but Holyfield and McBride are almost like they're almost like sharing the bill because they're talking about. They talk about it almost, they mention both fights at once. Like they don't even refer to Holyfield McBride as the co-feature. They just say another featured fight on the card is this. Yeah. So what I'm thinking was that was the plan all along, to get Tyson versus Holyfield on that, and that would have really bumped up the interest in the card and the viewership as well.
Sure.
So then I'm also thinking, well, did that maybe bother Tyson with the fact that they may have asked him to kind of like share the bill with Teofimo Lopez and Camposis? Was that could that be a part of the dispute they may have had?
No, I'll be honest with you. I think what happened, and I know where you're going with this, I think, but I think what happened was Tyson was going to be the main event there. I don't think he was going to share the bill. I don't think it was going to be a co-main there. I think that there was going to be Tyson, Holyfield, and then the undercard. And then, Teofimo was another one we can promote on this. But I don't think like they're Holyfield and McBride now sharing the spotlight with, and they're both kind of like co-mains. Yeah, I think they have to do that because McBride's not a huge name. Holyfield's a big name, but not so much McBride. Yeah. So I think with that, now they can promote both names. But if it was just Tyson and Holyfield, that would be the only name. That would be the main event. He would be the undercard at that point.
And then Chris Mannix made a statement, right? And he goes, well, he was asked about, what do you think of the senior tour? And he goes, yeah, a lot of these guys are doing it because of what Tyson did, but you got to understand, they're not Mike Tyson. They're not going to generate the interest. There's no other legend out there that will generate the interest that Tyson did. But here's the thing. Holyfield will forever be linked with Tyson because of that air bite fight. And even kids that really weren't around during that generation, that is forever known in history what happened. Everyone knows about that, even people who weren't around at the time. So that's where Holyfield can generate a lot of popularity, interest. And now people are going to be looking at this fight to see how Holyfield, this version of Holyfield, would match up against Tyson if they were to meet. So this is a good prelude to a potential Tyson fight. And I think based off of that, people are going to be interested in seeing how much Holyfield has left. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think this card is, the whole thing with Holyfield McBride. Obviously, it's not going to be what Holyfield Tyson would have been, but I still think it's going to get some interest because of people are going to be interested in seeing how good Holyfield looks based, to see how he would match up against Tyson for a future fight. So
Sure.
I think that's going to be a good, something that's going to attract people to the event.
Yeah.
So
I see Robert on the line. We're going to get to him in a minute. I see a couple of others on the line, guys. We're going to get to you in just about maybe five minutes or so. We're just going to gloss over the rest of this card. Then I'm going to start going to calls here in a minute. Because I want to hear what you guys have to say about the card last night also. Train wreck of the week this week. There are two. The first one, Regis Prograis versus Ivan Redkach. Jesus. The fight wasn't great. It was, just a one-sided beating, basically. Prograis wins a 6-round technical decision over Ivan Redkach. Prograis dominated the fight, but in the 6th round landed a low blow. So you watch him hit him a low blow, or so we thought. Redkach fell down. He rolled around in the ring like it was the worst pain he ever had. However, the replay showed Prograis didn't even hit him. That's right. He didn't even touch him, son. Didn't even touch him. You watch the glove. The glove lands on the side of his body. The glove doesn't even hit his body. Like his forearm lands on the side of his body. Half of it's blocked. So the punch missed. And wasn't even a solid body shot. Nothing, man. Even one of the announcers asked, did we forget? Did he forget he had instant replay? It's like, we all see this. We all see you're faking it. I mean, it's clear as day. You didn't get hit. I mean, not even a little bit. And so I would assume that they're gonna protest to try to turn that fight back into a knockout, because that was just nonsense. And I tell you what, I don't ever want to see Ivan Redkach again, ever.
Yeah, that was a real bad. That was a real bad look.
Awful.
And in defense to the referee, he from the angle he was at, he couldn't see where that punch landed. There was, but again,
I get it. But to double down after you've seen the replay, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? Second train wreck of the week. Listen, man, Frank Mir and Steve Cunningham fought, and it was the kind of fight you'd expect. It was Steve Cunningham won by the scores of 60-54 twice and 58-56. Listen, man, the fight wasn't that interesting. But here's where our train wreck of the week comes in. What was interesting is that they brought out a coked up Oscar De La Hoya to the announcer's booth to help announce the fight. Oscar was very creepy. He was very high. He was on something. Listen, he was on something. All right. He kept talking about Steve Cunningham's body, making multiple references to how he's in great shape and look at his abs. Just real creepy, man. This guy was like amped up to the gills, man. Listen, I don't know a lot about drugs, Beeb. You're our drug expert. I know you do all that, the coke and stuff like that. I know you do all that stuff. Listen, I don't know, because Triller and they got Snoop there and everybody had weed over there. That's kind of like part of the show, I guess. I don't know that weed does that to you. I don't know. Listen, I'll be the first to tell you. I don't know. I know like alcohol slows you down. I would think weed slows you down as well. He was amped up, man. He was real amped up. He was on something.
Well, here's the question. It's not the question is, was he on something? The question is, how many things was he on at once?
Jesus.
Because if again, Beeb will never touch cocaine, ever. That is the worst. I've seen people, I've been to parties and people doing coke had to be rushed to the hospital because their heart felt like it was going to rip out of it. I never smoked a joint in my life. Last time I drank alcohol, I was 17 years old. That stuff I don't drink.
Beeb's not against clean, baby.
I'm not against stimulants though. I like my caffeine. Don't get me wrong. Like my caffeine, like my ginseng a little bit. I don't even take the ginseng anymore. I'm basically caffeine. But enough with me. So the thing is this: he must have been on everything in the book, first of all, because he was like on a dopamine high. He was like, you have people who are happy when they're high. You have people who kind of are sad when they're high, and you have people who are angry when they're high. But he's actually like really stupid when he's high. Like he's like
I think it just amplifies his personality. I think he's probably stupid all the time.
So he's a dum-dum. The things he was saying, hey, USSR, the dude's American. Why are you calling him Russian?
USSA, USSR, he had no idea. He's on that cane.
He's crazy, man. He's crazy.
He's on that white girl, son. He's
you
on
could
the
look at his.
yayo.
You could look at his face and his eyes, how they were all fucking glassy and shit. Al Bernstein was hilarious throughout that whole contest. Like they're sitting there friggin' smoking this shit and they're intentionally blowing it in his face. Then Al Bernstein's like drinking he's drinking some type. I think he was drinking what was he drinking? Like whiskey or some shit. And he's like,
oh, was he?
Everybody, yeah. Al Bernstein was awesome, man.
How awesome would it be to be on one of those Triller events? Jesus.
Guess who was there? Carpenter was there.
Oh, was he?
They were actually going to Carpenter, and Carpenter like was dropping F-bombs and shit when they were asking him questions. Like everyone was trying to fit in and be cool and shit. So people like think about this. Ray Flores. Imagine Ray Flores. He looks like a little elementary school schoolboy, and he's dropping F-bombs and shit. And then like Snoop Dogg is like, he goes like, me and Al are gonna go into the green room after the show and smoke a little sticky icky. And then what's his name? Flores goes, can I come too? And then Snoop goes, you better ask your mom. He goes, you better ask your parents. You need a permission slip. It's like dudes that like, and credit to Mario Lopez. He kind of stayed in character for who he is. He didn't kind of try to be, but everyone was trying to like go over the top because they were trying to like outdo each other because of the platform they were on. Right. Everyone was trying to be like a little bit like over the top and, you know, kind of crazy and X-rated a little bit here and there. But, you know, it's funny. It was just funny seeing them like smoking joints and like smoking it. And then they were like intentionally like blowing it in Al Bernstein's direction. They were trying to get him like get him a contact high. Yeah, Snoop was himself. But Ray Flores wasn't himself. Mike Carpenter wasn't himself.
Oscar De La Hoya definitely wasn't himself.
So they had like Mike Carpenter as their like little roving reporter and shit in the stands, whatever. Fucking guy.
Unbelievable. All right, let's get Ringside Robert on the line here. Robert, you're live.
Hello, guys.
What's happening?
Tell everyone what you did yesterday.
Okay, so
go ahead
and let him know. Because let me tell you something. He is notorious.
You little rat.
Because he does this to me constantly. Go ahead. Tell him what you did. Take your medicine.
You want to tell him or you want me to tell him? You want to tell him or you want me to tell him what you did?
No, I was gonna set it up, Steve. Last night, I'm sitting here watching TV, and I got a notification on my phone saying that Jake Paul won the fight in the first round. And I thought, well, okay, I'm glad I didn't pay for that. So I sent Steve a text and I said, hey, Jake Paul won the fight in the first round. I hope you didn't pay for that pay-per-view, you know. And
why would you do that?
Once they send
why would you do that?
Now, Eric, Eric, I'm thinking once they send out the notification that people have already watched the fight. So I didn't think I was running anything.
Robbie, I was dead asleep, right? I had it DVR'd, right? I fell asleep. I woke up at like I woke up at 1:30. Then I read your text. And then I woke up and I was like, oh shit, I missed the fight. Let me go watch it. Let me go watch the recording that I DVR'd. And then I get your text and you like tell me he fucking ended in a first round knockout. So I already freaking knew the result before I watched the fight.
That's a douche move.
You didn't even apologize to me. You're like,
didn't even apologize.
You didn't even apologize to me. I think you should actually pay for half the pay-per-view now because of that.
He does that. He does that to me too. Hey, did you see he got knocked out in the third round? And I'm like, dude, I'm not watching the fight. And he was like, okay, well, when you watch the next one, just know that it ends early. What are you talking? Why are you telling me anything?
You are the biggest, Robbie. You are the biggest hater ever, man. You know what? Everyone's getting COVID vaccine. You should get the hater vaccine. That's what you should get. You need to get the hater vaccine.
That was messed up, man. That was a bad move.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that on purpose. So.
Clearly, you did it on purpose.
You ruined my Saturday night, Robbie. You ruined my Saturday night. Ruined it. Destroyed it. Can never get it back now. How are you going to ever make that up to me, Robbie?
Yeah.
What did I tell Mrs. Herrick what you did to me?
Oh, no. She heard our conversation this afternoon.
How many weeks did you get? How many weeks are you on? How many weeks did you get grounded for? No dessert for the next 6. No dessert for the next 6 weeks for you.
No. So, hey, good for him. Hey, good for you. No. That's right. That's what needs to happen.
She didn't do anything, so it's all right.
Well, let me tell you what. She should have. just for that move alone.
I'm going to call her up, and I'm going to give her a list of punishments that I think she should implement on you right now.
Yep.
Anyway, I called to talk about the Tony Harrison fight yesterday with Brian Perella. Now you were watching that. Did you finish that?
Yes, I.
We're talking about it on the show.
I mean, of course, I have to watch it by now because we're doing the show, Robbie. Now,
yeah, don't tell us. Don't spoil it for us.
Talking about a fight at 7:25. Talking about a fight at 7:25 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays.
It's safe to talk about them now.
It's different than talking about it friggin' at.
No, I wanted to make sure you finished watching it before I started talking about it, so I don't.
And then he goes, "I hope you didn't buy the pay-per-view." Meanwhile, I tell everyone that I buy every single pay-per-view that's ever been created.
Right, you knew you was buying the pay-per-view.
You knew I was going to buy it. Cut it out. But go ahead.
All right. Anyway, I watched the Tony Harrison Brian Perella fight, and I thought that was a good fight. And like I told you earlier today, I did score to draw. But I think Roy Jones is going to make a tremendous difference in Brian Perella's corner. I was very impressed with the way he had him ready for yesterday's fight.
Yeah. Robbie, you know what I was going to say, and I agree with you 100%. Because normally I'm the type of person where I think a lot of emphasis gets put too much on the trainer. Sometimes I think a trainer gets too much credit for a win and he gets too much blame for a loss. And a lot of times I think, but in this instance, I think Roy Jones definitely made an impact because you could see the rapport the two guys had. You could see they were on the same wavelength. You could see when Roy Jones was giving him instructions, how he was able to do exactly what Roy Jones told him to do. And when Roy Jones did give him instructions, he gave him specific instructions. He didn't just tell him the generalization type things like, oh, let your hands go, keep your hands up high. He actually gave him detailed instructions. When you get here, you need to position yourself here, throw that punch, and then throw this punch. When you throw your jab, double it up, then step over to your right, and then drop your left hand, whatever. He was giving him, very specific instructions, and he was following them. You could see everything Roy Jones told him to do. He was doing it. So you could definitely tell that Roy Jones did have a great impact on Perella's performance last night, 100%.
And I was blown away by the announcer saying that Tony Harrison admitted that he didn't like sparring with southpaws, didn't like fighting southpaws.
Yeah, he revealed too much.
Couldn't remember if he ever fought any southpaws. And I'm thinking before the fight starts, after they start talking about that, I'm thinking, well, if he's never had any experience with southpaws and he doesn't like fighting southpaws, he's going to have difficulty. And he was lucky to get a draw, in my opinion, because the way they were talking about him before the fight, I'm thinking, well, if he's got that much trouble, what's he doing in the ring?
Well, the thing is this. I mean, he was like a 6-1 favorite going into the fight, and I actually thought Perella did win the fight. I thought he kind of won it clearly, but if you look back,
okay,
you can see some swing around the first round, maybe some of those middle rounds. I just thought that Perella won the fight, but I didn't hate the draw, to be honest with you. I didn't hate the draw.
No, I didn't either.
But I think the big thing with that fight was, I think Perella's movement. Like, he would go in and out, and he would throw his combinations. And as soon as he, finished the combination, he would either step off to the side, slide back, and circle. He never stood still for Harrison. And Harrison's the type of guy, even though he's known to be a good defensive fighter, doesn't move his feet a lot. He keeps his feet planted in one spot for a long time. And he likes to fight out of that high guard, and he likes to catch and parry. And when he parries the shot, he likes to shoot his shot over the top, and he likes to kind of move his head a little bit, but he doesn't step out of the pocket. He tries to stay in the pocket too long, and he believes that he could parry and counter over the top. But sometimes if he misjudges the timing of his opponent's punches, or if an opponent decides to double up and throw 2 quick jabs, you can't parry both of them. You can only parry one, and if the other one's coming right behind it before you can parry it down, your opponent's pulling it back and snapping it right back out there before you can go over the top, and you're gonna have some problems. So he needs to learn to get out of that pocket, because that's what hurt him when he got knocked out with Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson knocked him out because he stayed in that pocket too long. Same thing with Charlo.
Yep.
So he's got to know that he's got to get out of that pocket and reset. He just can't stand there and think he's going to catch everything with his gloves, because he couldn't, because Perella was blanketing him with combinations. He was just mixing up the shots beautifully.
Yeah, no, it was entertaining, and you could tell, like in the corner, Roy Jones, you're right, he was giving detailed instructions, and it was almost like Brian Perella was going to school in the corner. It was like, and most trainers, oh, come on, you're doing good, or okay, this is what you need to do. No, every time they went to the corner, he was giving him detailed instructions. It was almost like, okay, remember, we're still in the gym. This is what you need to work on. And he did that throughout the entire fight. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think either one of them looked that great. I got to be honest. I don't think either one of them looked that great.
Eric, that's why we do this show, because everyone has a right to their own opinion.
Yeah. You know who I thought looked great?
That's right.
Titletown looked great, son. Hey, what'd you think of Jake Paul, Robert? What'd you think of that? Titletown representing, son. What do you think about that? You didn't watch it. You told me about the fight. Why didn't you
watch it? But you had no problem.
Told everybody about it.
You had no problem reporting on it. You had no problem reporting on it, though, did you? Did you?
Hey, when my phone alerts me, I let.
Then you alert everybody else. You just like CNN or something like that. You just throw out your own alert. I got to call Beeb.
Robbie, are you that person that goes to the mall during Christmas, right? And when the little kids are sitting on Santa, do you walk up to little kids and whisper in the ear, "Hey, that's not really Santa. That's a guy dressed up as Santa."
No.
Do you do that, Robbie? Do you do stuff like that, Robbie?
Yeah, he does stuff like that.
Come on, Joe. I've never done anything like that.
I've never done that, Joe.
I'm going to ask Mrs. Herrick about that. I will ask Mrs. Herrick about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's that?
Have her call on the show. We'll talk to her through you from now on. All right. That way she's not going to ruin the fights for us. You want
to tell everyone else about the other thing we talked about, or you want to keep that under wraps for now?
No, you tell it. You tell it.
It's up to you.
Tell it. Now business is out now. Tell it.
No, I'm getting 2 smart TVs. I'm getting them hooked up this week, which means I'll be able to get both DAZN and ESPN Plus. So I will be able to watch all the fights.
Welcome to the 20th century.
Jesus. Yeah, only about 6 years too late. Where you been, son? They've had smart TVs forever.
Eric,
how big was the TV you bought? You better have bought a big one too.
Eric, give me credit.
Lord of Vision size.
I bought TVs for the size of our house, Eric. So
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Robbie got them 100-inch, baby. All
yeah, right.
I'm proud of you, Robbie. I'm proud of you.
He's proud of him.
Pretty soon, you and I will be able to we'll be able to do live commentaries on the fights pretty soon when you get that DAZN hookup. Me and you, Robbie.
Well, I'll be calling you this week because I'm probably going to need your help with that. So,
all right, we'll take care of it.
Somebody from Beeb Industries will be out to do the installation.
We'll send someone out there for a nominal fee.
For a nominal fee. All right, Robert, we're going to get running, man. You've taken enough abuse from us today.
All right,
man.
All right, Robbie, take it easy, man.
One more question.
Oh, hold on.
Go ahead.
Do you know how much the pay-per-view is going to be on May the 1st?
55, I think.
55?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. All right.
Well, that's not bad.
That's not
bad.
You'll buy it.
All right.
We're going to go to
you guys.
805. 805. You're live.
Is that Nacho?
I don't know. 805.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Nacho, what's
up, Nacho?
What was up with your boy De La Hoya last night?
What's going on? What's up with your boy De La Hoya? What happened with him?
What's up with him?
You and him doing lines?
I don't know, man.
You and him doing lines? Fight, wasn't you?
You and him doing lines in the bathroom?
I know it was you, son.
Were you and him doing lines in the bathroom?
I saw you around there.
as someone famous once said, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, I don't know what's up with that dude, man. He's got too much free time, and too much money on his hands. That's what happened.
Dwayne M. That's a hard no.
Yeah. So with the fight, you guys are talking about it right now. That was the absolute worst acting job by Ivan Redcatch I've seen since Terry Norris got disqualified for knocking out or for hitting Luis Santana.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
Not, you were watching boxing back then, not you? Were watching boxing back then?
Yeah, man.
You saw a video of it.
Yeah, it was beef.
Yeah, we didn't watch. He saw.
Did you watch it or did you YouTube it?
Stories.
No, I watched it.
You're a young guy, Nacho. I didn't think you were around. I didn't think you were watching.
Yeah, I didn't
then.
think you were around then. Yeah, how old are you, Nacho?
Not you watching.
Yeah, it was.
Not you watching SpongeBob back then.
When the first fight happened, I was 13.
13, Nach.
So
how old are you, Nach?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
How old are you, Nach?
I'm 40.
Wow, he's only 40. B. He's just a puppy, man.
He sounds like he's like in his 20s the way he talks.
Yeah, he's just a little puppy, man. Look at him.
Well, I thought he was a young kid.
He's a little puppy.
Nah.
Jason, we're gonna go to you next, man.
So, yeah.
So was Oscar in them lines or what? He was doing them lines.
Not? Did you buy the? Did you buy the pay-per-view, Nacho? Did you buy it?
No, I watched it later on. I didn't buy it.
Did Robbie ruin the pay-per-view for you too?
Did Robbie text you and tell you who won?
No, thank God. Thank God Robbie doesn't have my number.
What would you do? Let me ask you this, Notch. If Robbie did that to you, would you block him?
Oh, depending on how big the fight was. Like,
Nacho had to think about it.
Nacho had to think about it. He had to think about it. So yeah, he would.
Nacho's going to put him on the do not call list.
You know what was great? You know what was great about last night is Beeb texted me. He was so mad. He texted me. He was like, "I'm blocking him."
I couldn't do it though. I couldn't do it.
He was I'm blocking him.
I couldn't do it.
I was like, wow.
You know, remember Lord of the the Hobbit, when the Hobbit like had the ring, the Hobbit had the ring on, and he was jumping out of that cave, but he could have stabbed Gollum in the back, but he felt that one little bit of like compassion and sympathy for Gollum. That's how I feel.
What you're talking about?
That's how I That's how I always feel when I get mad.
What you're talking about? Who's Gollum?
Please,
what are you talking about?
Please, Eric, the grown folks are talking. The grown folks talking. That's how I always feel every time.
Or something like that. What are you doing?
That's how I always feel when I get mad at Robbie and I say I'm going to write him off. I always at the very end of my rage, I say to myself, I feel bad for this kid. You never saw The Hobbit?
No.
What kind of childhood did you have? You never saw The
watching
Hobbit?
that nonsense, man. Childhood. Did that movie come out like a few years ago?
Notch, you watched The Hobbit, right?
Yeah, I saw those movies.
On,
you know who Gollum is, right?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know when he was getting ready to leave the cave, but he had the ring on his finger and he was invisible, and he had the dagger in his hand.
I don't need to hear it again.
He was going to stab him, but then he felt bad for him. That's how I feel when I get mad at Robbie. I had that little bit of Eric. Please, you're killing the moment. You're killing the climax.
You're putting Eric to sleep here.
All right, go ahead.
You're killing the climax.
Yeah.
It didn't sound right.
Just real quick. The card that Robbie was talking about with Harrison and Perella, I was like, I thought Perella did enough to win that fight clearly, but I mean, a draw, I'm not really all that mad about it. I mean, you could kind of make a case that maybe Harrison might have done enough to get a draw, but he definitely didn't deserve the win. I thought Perella outboxed him for most of the fight.
Guys, that fight was boring,
just
man.
certain spots where.
You didn't like the Harrison fight either?
I didn't like it.
Oh, I like that fight.
I didn't care for the Harrison fight.
I thought there was some good action in that fight. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you like that fight, Notch?
Yeah, it was a decent fight. I'm not going to sit here and say it was great, but it had enough action. It had enough action where it wasn't completely boring, So, but yeah, I thought Perella won that fight, but they they gave him the draw, which I thought was a bit unfair, but I'm not really mad at the draw. I mean, I think both guys will get another fight at some point anyway.
Yeah.
Your boy though, I don't know if you guys got to see it. Milnicki looked bad last night.
He didn't.
Well,
you know what? The guy he was fighting. Let's touch on that. Yeah, let's go into that for a second here, Beeb.
Go ahead, Eric.
So Vito Milnicki lost his first pro fight last night against James Martin by majority decision, 77-75, 79-73, and 76 all. I'm not sure what happened with Milnicki in this fight, man, but his corner seemed to be indicating to me that he wasn't taking instruction, and the only thing and again, this is immediately after the fight, my mind's ticking, and like, I'm thinking, I wonder if it's time, like, with this kind of thing, because he came home, admitted by his own admission, because he was kind of homesick. He felt more comfortable at home and everything like that. That guy was taking the fight to him. Reminded me a lot of like the Mexican fighters, those pressure type of fighters. And he had trouble with that. The same thing he would have found in California with all the sparring out there with Goosen's gym. I'm just saying, is it time? Would that be a good move for him to say, look, man, I know I'm homesick, but it's either do or die now. I think I want to go out to Goosen, because Goosen can make a real good change, I think, with this guy.
Well, my thoughts.
I mean,
go ahead, Nacho. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't get why he left Goosen. I mean, the whole thing about being homesick. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, yeah.
I mean, you're 40.
I mean, I get it, but
kid's 18.
No, I know.
When I went away to the military, I was homesick, but I had to stick it out, man, because I was doing it for the country. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices sometimes in life. I'm sorry.
What did you do in the military? What did you do in the military? You're probably in a band or something like that. What did you do in the military?
You got to laugh. So my first MOS, which is called Military Occupational Specialty,
right?
I was called a 31 Lima. I was a wire systems installer. You know what that is? So they used to have these trucks, and we would run wire, and I would like hold like the wire and shit. And I would like run. I used to have to climb poles with the gaffs, but I felt this is what happened. I was on one of the poles and I fell a couple times. So I asked him if I could reclass my MOS. Then I was actually a cook in the Army for a great period of time.
Right.
Bravo. Yeah, I didn't like doing that. Plus, they were going to phase out the 31 Limas anyways, so I became a cook in the Army.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
I was a good shot too, man. Like when I used to qualify with my M16, I was a marksman.
You were a marksman for real?
Yeah, I was pretty good. Out of 40 shots, I hit like friggin' 36. I was pretty good.
What is it? Marksman and then expert, right? Expert is the top one.
It's marksman, sharpshooter, and expert.
I don't know. I think my dad may have qualified an expert. He was in the Marines, so I think he may have qualified an expert on one and maybe sharpshooter on the other one.
Yeah.
Or it was something like that. Like that. If he's listening, Dad, text in. Let me know what you were.
Was your dad a Marine? Was your dad a Marine or an Army?
Yeah, he was in the Marines. Yeah,
that's no joke. He had way harder training than me.
Yeah, he was in the Marines through Vietnam and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, but that Milnicki fight, I had it 57-55. I thought the thing about it is he lost the first 3 rounds, but then I like how he won the next 3. I thought he came back in the next 3, but then I thought he lost the last 2.
That guy was just putting pressure on him, man.
But also the guy was moving very well. And what another thing the guy was doing was he was just popping that jab like crazy.
He was a good fighter, man.
Yeah, he had like kind of like an off-speed type jab. Like he just kept varying up the speed of that jab, and it was really, you could tell it was very hard for Milnicki to adapt to the speed of that jab and just the way he was throwing it. Sometimes he would double it, triple it. He kept varying up the sequence of how many times he would throw it out there. You know what I mean? I thought
that guy was fast, man. That guy was a good fighter. For 3 losses, I think the guy had 2 or 3 losses. The guy was a good fighter, man.
The thing too is, I said this to Eric earlier, and tell me what you think about this, Nacho. It's good that something like this happens early in his career than later, because now he could learn from it and work, build on it and get better moving forward, because he's only 18.
Yeah, that's true. I was actually going to suggest, I mean, I don't know if it's possible, but I was just kind of thinking about this right now. Maybe he doesn't want to come all the way back to California to be with Goosen, But what about him being with a trainer like Andre Rozier?
Good move, Notch. That's a good suggestion. Very good suggestion.
I mean, I think that guy could teach him everything that Goosen can, and he doesn't have to fly all the way to the West Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that might be a better fit. Yeah. But yeah, I agree, Beef. I think him losing now is better for him than losing later on when he's more of a developed fighter at like 22, 23 versus right now that he's 18.
He's 18, guys.
You know?
He didn't get stopped. This isn't the type of performance where you look at it and say, wow, he got ruined. You know what I mean? Because he showed some promise in there. No. Yeah. No. I mean, he came back in those, you know, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round. So he tried, he fought hard in the fight. You know, he showed a lot of courage in the fight. And, you know, if you look at him, he didn't look discouraged. He didn't look like he was terribly hurt, but obviously he was
disappointed. He looked disappointed, obviously, but nothing,
at the end, he looked disappointed at the end. But during the fight, you could see when someone feels like they're giving up, and he didn't have that look of resignation or that look of frustration in there. He was poker faced in there, even throughout all the adversity he was dealing with, because you could tell it was had to have been a very frustrating situation for him dealing with this guy who was constantly moving and slipping and feinting and stuff. He couldn't pin the guy down.
No. Boy, I tell you what, Jason's really giving you the business in the chat, Nacho. Oh,
Jason is talking mad trash about you.
Wow.
I think we should set up
boring. He said next caller.
We need to set up a match between you and Jason, man.
What about that, man? Wouldn't that be good if we could
I'll give you guys 20,000 apiece, man. 3 rounds.
20,000. 20,000. I'm thinking like $50, man. I'm like,
they're amateurs. They have no skills. 20,000 apiece, 10,000 bonus for the winner.
Jesus, I'm thinking, like I said, man, like $100 or something like that, $50.
No, we gotta get him.
Where
in the
you
ring.
getting the money at? Where are you getting money at? What do you got? A stimulus coming that nobody knows about?
You know, BB Industries got a little bit of a.
Did you hear about that? We're getting another stimulus. Apparently, we're getting like
keep them coming. Keep them coming.
And it's going to be like monthly.
Keep stimulating me, baby. I love the stimulation. I love it, son.
You just keep that money coming, boy.
I love the stimulus.
I ain't doing that. I'm sitting home getting money, getting paid.
Beeb Industries has really had some great growth this year, man. This pandemic has not affected us one bit.
We're recession proof, though. That's the difference between us and a lot of. We're recession proof.
We're recession proof.
You know? All right, Nacho, we're gonna get running, man. Let's move on to our next caller here.
Really quick, guys. I just wanted to touch real quick on Andrade and Williams.
Yeah, the fight sucked too.
Andrade,
he looked awful. He looked awful, Nacho. Come on, what do we got to elaborate on? He didn't look great.
I mean,
he should have got that guy out of there.
He didn't look great, but he did enough.
Come on, stop it.
He did enough to win, and he fought a tough guy.
What do you mean he could beat Canelo?
Come on, you got to give him a little bit of credit.
You think he could beat Canelo?
You got to give him a little bit of credit.
You think he could beat Canelo?
No.
You said he could beat Canelo? No, come on, man.
Nacho, I'm gonna run down I'm gonna run down a couple list of people. Can he beat Charlo? No.
Nope.
Can he 50-50 fight?
No.
Can he beat Ringside Robert? Nope.
Can he
beat Charlo? Nope.
I'll tell you all, I think Deverenchenko beats him. I think Charlo beats him. I think Billy Joe Saunders would beat him. I think Canelo beats him. I think all the top guys would beat him.
Yeah, I think all the top guys beat him too. All right, Nacho, we're going to get running, man. 706, Jason, you're live.
Man, when Nacho called in, we had like 33 viewers, and when we left, it was like 28. So he fucking put 5 people to sleep. Man, you guys gotta fucking hurry up and be boring ass callers. Come on. But I'm glad B finally. I'm glad B finally got an HD cam and a new mic with that Biden stimulus, man. I'm telling you, B, I told you to vote for Biden, man. You should have listened to me.
Always top-notch equipment over here.
Always HD, son.
Always had an HD camera, buddy. Always had HD camera. You know what? Can I tell you what happened? You know what? My internet, I got 1.2 meg. I got 1,200 megs download now. My internet's through the roof. They gave me like the.
Hey, did you guys see the variantes? that Angel Barrientos kid who lost like a couple of months ago, he came back and got a win last.
I thought it was
last
Omar.
night.
Yeah, Omar won. Omar was like first round knockout, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Omar was
the
like
other brother, his
knockout.
fight didn't get televised. It was like a swing bout, but they both won.
Yeah.
They both won.
Yeah, yeah.
And dude, Vito, that was bad matchmaking. I was like talking about during the fight, like BBC rushed him a little bit, but his dad is like a promoter, a local promoter of Vito, so they approved that opponent. They have been saying this is a step up we've been waiting for. So that was like 3 fights soon, I think. Vito still doesn't have his man strength. You see that. That opponent landed one shot, and as soon as he landed that one shot on the button, Vito's whole look changed. Like, yeah, that deer in the headlight looked the whole night. So, he was looking. I'm not sure he doesn't want to go train with Vito. He doesn't want to go train with Joe because there's nobody in that gym, bro. He should go train with RGBA where there's other kids where he could, he could relate to those kids. He could stay at that camp. He's homesick because there's nobody in that Gooston gym. It's like Areola and old dudes. He should be training with Robert Garcia. There's like young kids training there.
I would like to see him with Robert Garcia. I would like to see him with Robert Garcia. I think that would be a good move.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be definitely a good move.
Also, they're very interested. I think they should go there too. They would be so much better at RGBA, I think, because there's a lot of young kids there. There's Jose Tito, there's fucking Jose Ramirez.
Are you hanging out at Garcia's gym?
No, but
or you just watch Secback videos? You just watch ES News and
Jason,
get the videos and just make your own opinions that way?
Jason, let me just say this one thing. Let me just interject this one thing. Everyone's sitting there saying like Milnecki got destroyed yesterday. He lost the fight, but I had it was like 5 rounds to 3. Like it was a 5 rounds to 3.
Right.
A draw would not have.
He did take a lot of punishment. He took a lot of clean punches to the dome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it was. It was not a great. It wasn't the greatest of situations he was in yesterday. But I think a lot of people are really like going overboard with. I had people texting me. He got a beating. He didn't get a beating. He lost the fight. He lost the fight, but he didn't get a beating.
He showed a lot of heart. He stood tall for sure.
But Jason, Jason,
also, guys, how come you guys didn't do a video about the Showtime schedule, man? I thought you would.
Because we're not PR people. We're not PR people.
Showtime ain't paying me, son.
I'm not a PR person.
Ain't paying me, son.
I'm not a PR person.
Video for Jake Paul and Ben Askren. That's PR work.
That's a fight.
How are you not going to do a video about
I'm breaking down a fight? On my W-2, when I fill out my W-2 at the end of the year, it does not say PR person. You know what it says? It says health inspector / boxing analyst. That's on my W-2.
I've seen it, son.
I do not draw a PR salary.
I've seen it.
If people want me to be a PR person, they will write me checks. They will write me checks.
Like that, you do a video. Stop front.
I don't do any. Again, behavior is proof. Look at all my videos. Go down the list. There is no video on my catalog on Ringside Reporter or Eric that says schedule on it. We don't do schedule. We don't do videos for schedule.
What do you guys think about the schedule? Stop beef.
And we're going to talk about the schedule later. We're going to talk about the schedule later. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the schedule later.
All right, cool. Also, I was going to say these pay-per-view numbers are coming out. Don't buy that shit because pay-per-view numbers don't come out overnight.
No, I heard the Jake Paul fight did a 4.0. That's what I heard. I heard it did 4 solid, son.
I heard it did 2 million at least.
I'm here. It's like 200,000 under the record, son. That's what I'm hearing.
Jason,
that's what I heard. I don't know.
I think it's going to be
Canelo's pay-per-view numbers. He beat Canelo GGG. Dude, Jake Paul beat Canelo GGG pay-per-view numbers. Isn't that crazy?
Hey, did you see Jay Leon Love in the corner there? I didn't know he was down with Jake Paul. You see Jay Leon
Everybody's
Love?
down with Jake Paul, son.
He's been with Jake for months.
He's been with Jake forever.
Dude, he's been living with Jake.
He's sparring with him too?
Forever.
I know he was living with him.
He's going to fight T. Woodley. I think Jay Leon would whoop T. Woodley in a boxing match. If he fought Tyron Woodley, Jay Leon would beat him.
Oh, he's going to fight. He's going to box
Woodley.
He's going to box Tyron Woodley.
They've been talking shit back and forth last night, so they might. I hope they do.
Jay Leon Love, right? That's what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, he'll kill Woodley.
Yeah, Jay Leon. He used to be a Mayweather fighter. No, he's retired now. He doesn't box anymore. I guess he's just like a sparring partner now. So he's just making money sparring.
He'll kill Woodley. That's not even close.
But guys, didn't you guys think the Jones versus Tyson production was way better? I thought the production last night was kind of iffy. I thought the Jones Tyson was really sharp.
I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't really care for the production. I mean, I fast forwarded through all of it. It looked like they had a lot of big stars. I thought I saw Justin Bieber on there or whatever, but I'm fast forwarding through all the stuff, just trying to get to the fights. It's hard to watch those things live. It really is.
Yeah, but they had Ice Cube doing live
I just thought
performance. They had Too Short. They had Too Short there.
I don't even know who Too Short is.
You wouldn't. But they brought all.
Doja Cat.
They brought out all the OGs for this one, baby. They had all the OGs.
Was Easy E there?
They had Albert. Dude, they had fucking coke
Where's
out
he at?
Oscar was
Eric, he passed away, Eric,
coked out of his
please.
mind.
How am I supposed to know? I don't keep up with this stuff.
Eric, please.
How am I supposed to know? What I'm just supposed to know that?
What Frank Mir posted about Oscar? Did you? Hey, Eric,
What do you
go on Twitter and see what Frank Mir just posted?
What he post?
Pull up Frank Mir's tweet. He said Oscar needs to go to rehab. That's what he just posted.
Dang. Yeah, he sure does need to go to rehab, man.
Well,
that was messed up.
He
was jacked up. No,
is he wrong?
He was jacked up.
Is he wrong?
They asked him last night if who is he fighting?
Guys, remember when the Canelo fight? Guys, remember when the Canelo fight happened with Floyd? Oscar was in rehab. Al Heyman sent Richard Schaefer to rehab with $100 million check offer to Oscar to buy Golden Boy. Oscar rejected it. That dummy should have fucking taken that offer back.
Yeah, but Oscar said yes. Then he recanted on it. He was going to sell.
Yeah, he recanted because he's got too much pride. You know, he doesn't want to lose to Al Heyman. He doesn't want to admit that Al Heyman's defeated. Like, he doesn't want to admit that shit. He doesn't want to admit that shit. That's why he's like, he was taking shots at Eddie and DAZN last night. He's like, congrats to Eddie and DAZN. Best of luck to him tonight, because he's doing a show with Triller. He thought DAZN was going to flop or something. Like, I don't know. He's taking shots at DAZN now.
Well, let me ask you a question.
I don't know. He burns all those things.
I have to ask you, did you hear the rumor that Fox may drop PBC next year?
It's not a rumor, Beavis. It's Rick Glazer, the liar, fucking starting.
No, I'm not even talking about him. I'm not even talking about him. He's an idiot, that guy. Someone else told me it.
That's who started this shit.
Hey, Jason.
Been saying this for years. Every 2 years we hear PBC is getting dropped. PBC is getting dropped. It's been going on for 8 years. You only hear that about PBC. We never hear about Top Rank or Bastion. Just think about that. And PBC is doing the biggest ratings. PBC is kicking Bob Arum's Top Rank's ass on ESPN. ESPN ratings are in the gutter. PBC is still doing 1.2 million average. Like that fight last night, Harrison, that fight got 1.1 million at least. Just wait till the ratings come out tomorrow.
Hey, Jason, before I move forward here, does Snow Queen have an OnlyFans account?
No, but she's got a exclusive Instagram account where she posts her X-rated picture. So it's called Snow Queen LA Fans. Follow that account.
You want us to get her on the show? Because we'll get her on the show then. All right, we'll get her on the show. She should be easy
I'll
to
tell her
to
call you. I'll tell her to call you.
Yeah, we should get her on the show. Because we've had a lot. She's probably our most requested guest, and it's not even a boxer. You know what I'm saying? This is this chick who does porn or whatever she does. So,
dude, the Barrientos twins wearing the Louis Vuitton, they're doing Louis Vuitton modeling. They're on the Louis Vuitton page.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't peeping them out like that, man. I wouldn't like looking at them that hard.
Is he really getting excited about two twin males modeling Louis Vuitton underwear?
Oh my God!
This is getting too
Louis Vuitton.
That's how Jake Paul became a star, by doing shit like that.
This is getting too creepy. This is getting too creepy.
But you didn't see him in the outfits, Beeb.
This is getting
God, he looks so good.
It's all about cloud chasing now.
This is
shout out to
getting
Aaron Daly. That guy's a real one.
You didn't see how good they looked, Beeb. What's the matter with you? Come on. It's like be a man, son.
Ohio, man? Do you have any fighters coming up from Ohio? Do we have any fighters from Ohio coming up, or what? Ohio?
Yeah, Jake Paul, son. You might have saw him last night. That's the fighter from Ohio. All right, man. We're gonna get moving.
Do we need any more fighters from Ohio? We're already there.
They're already here.
They're already here. What do you mean coming up? They're already up.
From El Paso, Texas, 915. You're live.
What's going on? Can you guys hear me?
What's happening, man?
How are you doing tonight, Mr. Anaya?
I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really, really, really good right now.
Are you feeling Oscar De La Hoya good?
Thank you guys for, no, not like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know what was up with Oscar De La Hoya, man. That was bizarre to say the least. But I wanted to just talk about how the tables have really turned for the MMA world, because for the longest time, You know, I had to hear constant, like, MMA fighters wanted to challenge our world champions and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And if, you know, but McGregor went 9 rounds of Floyd or whatever it was, even though I feel he carried him. Paulie Malignaggi, even though it was a bare knuckle fight and everybody knew he had brittle hands and he was going to break his hands, right? He lost to a nobody. This guy was a UFC flunky, and Paulie lost to him. And it's just kind of ironic how the tables have turned, and now some novice boxers, so some YouTuber, that's knocked out a former Bellator world champion of MMA. Now, I get that the guy is not a striker, but I don't give a shit. I just love the fact that the tables have turned. I love the fact that the Chael Sonnens that like to, you know, talk about how a real, like, boxing is not a real sport. You know, now they just have to witness what they witnessed. You know, hold this L MMA. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I tell you what, Askren, did you think that, you know, when you watched that fight, did you think Askren even trained for it? I mean, he didn't look like he trained at all. From the way his body looked, from the way he was throwing punches.
I feel like he probably had I think he had a shirt with Dorito stains on it, took it off, and just walked to the ring. That's how
Right.
it felt. Like, I don't understand what he was thinking. I do honestly believe this, though. I do believe that Askren just felt, there's just a stupid YouTube kid. I'm going to go in there and just knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
I think he honestly believed that. I think when people told him, come on, like you went at it with Bobby Lawler, this kid ain't going to knock you out, I think he believed it. I think when Freddie Roach is telling everybody, Ash is going to beat him up, watch. I think he believed all that. And I don't know why stuff like this happens, just like CM Punk was in you know, like in all seriousness, CM Punk was in an MMA gym, and people there were pumping him up. Like, they were telling everybody all the things that you supposedly want to hear. Like, oh no, he's ready. Like, he's training with world-class MMA fighters, and CM Punk's going to shock the world. And, you know, I just kind of feel like that happens sometimes, you know, so it is what it is.
Yeah, he was, I thought Paul looked pretty good, though. I did. I actually thought Paul looked pretty good. I mean, like you said, he knows how to throw punches. I wouldn't put him in there with anybody like, you know, experienced, but I think he can hold his own for a little bit. It was good.
Well, look, what makes him different than, it's just, the only thing is that he's under a microscope right now, right? And he's obviously using his big YouTube platform, so everyone is watching his rise. But what makes him any different than some, you know, 18, like think of the boxer that took a boxing at a very, now look, I'm not comparing him to Winky Wright now, okay, before somebody jumps on me, but Winky Wright didn't become a boxer till he was like 18. You know what I mean? Like, what makes him different than the mechanic that says, you know what, I'm going to start. What is that?
I said Deontay Wilder took up boxing, I think, when he was 20.
Yeah. Like, so my point is, what makes him different than any other prospect that took up boxing late? I'll tell you one big difference. He doesn't need to work a second job full time. He could put more focus on this, and he could afford world-class training that could focus just on him. Not a lot of people have that, right? So I'm not surprised that this kid can box, because boxing is a skill. It's a skill that could be learned. You know, there's obviously levels to it, but, you know, for people saying he's disrespecting the sport, is he really? I mean, he's really getting in there and doing it, right? Which is more than a lot of us could say. So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't have a problem with what the kid's doing. He's turning heads, and if the MMA dudes will want to show that they have better hands than boxers, then, you know, you got to call Jake Paul first. You know, if you pass Jake Paul, then we could talk about a real professional boxer. You know what I mean?
Let me pose a question here, because I think this is pretty interesting. Do you think Jake Paul beats Oscar De La Hoya?
No.
You had to think, though. You had to think.
I had to think about it, too. I mean, I would probably favor Oscar in that, but
it was a delay.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure he beats him. I'm not 100% sure Oscar beats him.
I think Jake Paul beats him.
Jake Paul's bigger. Jake Paul's bigger.
I think Jake Paul beats him.
Well, he doesn't beat him.
I'll bet you 1,000 right now he beats him.
I don't know, man.
Bet you 1,000.
I don't know.
Like, first of all,
Lois, get the checkbook.
Like, he didn't tell me beat Ben Askren. He was hard fainting, and Askren was falling for the feint. You really think it's going to work on an Oscar De La Hoya? Or it's gonna
Oscar De La Hoya is
Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar De La Hoya is 48 years old right now.
Yep, that's the
48 years old. His body has a coked up version. He's abused his body for the last 10 years. Jake Paul beats him. I think he knocks him out.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That was a good one. That was a good question, man.
You would have beat him last night, that's for sure. But hey, guys, I want to thank you for taking my call. I got to run. Ringside Reporter, man. This is where it's at. Sunday night. All right, I'm out.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Hey, so D Styles got Hispanics Call Us Panic on Tuesdays?
Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I do Throwback Thursdays with them. That's the best show.
That's probably the worst show they got, I think.
Best show.
I think it's probably, you know what would work? I think if they just like muted you and they did the show, it would probably get better ratings.
Never.
But since they have you on there, I think the Tuesday and Wednesday gets much more ratings than the Thursday show, for sure.
I can be heard even through closed caption.
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
Hey, Georgie.
How
you doing? Did you get your COVID vaccine yet?
Hey, yo! What's happening, people?
Get the vaccine yet, Georgie?
What was that?
You get the COVID vaccine yet?
He got the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, man, my girl, she volunteered for that shit. I told her not to take it, but she want to go and volunteer for the goddamn.
Yeah, I just want to go get COVID, so who worries about the vaccine, you know? What's the matter with you? You were the one that brought COVID to our attention. Now you're not even getting the vaccine. What are you doing?
He's a denier.
What are you doing?
He turned into a denier now.
Listen, brother, I just want to know your opinion on the Tony Harrison fight and the Perella dude.
Thought it was boring.
I liked the fight. I thought Perella won the fight.
I think Harrison's on the slide. Yeah.
That nigga got robbed. Didn't that nigga got robbed?
Who?
I think Perella won the fight. If you're asking me if you're asking me who I thought won the fight.
The last 3 weeks. Listen, the last 3 weeks being robberies, babe. I forgot who got robbed the last week, but I remember somebody got robbed, and before last week, what fucking Chocolatito got robbed, and then we go beside. Nigga! When a motherfucking can get a fair fight. Listen, this shit is so disgusting. So disgusting that Tony Harrison corner was telling Tony Harrison to go out there and have fun. Because these niggas already know what's coming down the pipe. Not even the effort. They already know that walking out of there at least with a drill. They already know that. It's bad, baby. It's that bad. I just don't get it how so cold. Boxing fans, they're not outraged about this shit. I'm like the only boys out here who come in here and fucking pissed about this shit.
Aaron Daly, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Everybody else is business as usual. Say what? Yo. What'd you say?
I said, Aaron Daly, thank you so much.
We got a super chat. We're just thanking someone for giving us a super chat. That's all.
JC, thank you so much. We appreciate it, man.
Just thanking people for donating money to us. I mean, that's
everybody out there support the channel, baby.
That's right.
Everybody out there support the channel, baby. Because if these motherfuckers, listen, if these motherfuckers got me here speaking, this shit is real, doggy. Get that straight. Get that straight. You're not gonna hit Georgie Porgy on the fucking channel. Why? Because motherfuckers know what time it is. They know what I bring. They know what's up. I'm not gonna. I love boxing before I love any boxer. Before I fucking respect any so-called conglomerate force compaggery that your motherfuckers call sanctioning body. That's where the fucking true love of the sport should be at, on the sport itself. These motherfuckers who run this shit, these niggas against you. Oh no, fuck no. Listen, like I said, support the Rio. I don't have a lot to say. I'm out.
All right, Georgie from Rikers, baby. From Rikers all the way out to LA. 323, you're live.
Yo, what's good? What's good? It's your boy H Money.
H
Mr.
Money.
DAZN. How y'all feeling?
What's happening, man?
Feeling a lot better now that we got you on the line, H Money.
What's good, Eric?
It's all good, man.
What's good, Habib? How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Haven't been this happy in several years.
So let's get straight to the smoke, man. Let's get straight to the smoke, guys. Yesterday was a great night of boxing. I got breaking news. Jake Paul does 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. This is breaking news. He just went on his YouTube channel and he said they generated $65 million off of 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. Let me get the thoughts from Ringside Reporter, please.
Listen, I tell you what, if Jake Paul said that, you know what? I got a tendency to believe him. I don't know. It doesn't. If that's truly the number, honestly, it doesn't shock me. Jake Paul is a big deal. Both these guys, Logan Paul and Jake Paul, listen, man, I didn't know who they were when they came out, but my kids both did. Both Antonio and Elena knew who they were. But before, when we talked about the KSI fight or whatever, they knew who they were. These guys are huge on YouTube. They're YouTube stars. Like, everybody knows them. We don't know them because we're not in that world. But all the kids and everybody, they know them. They've got millions and millions of followers. That number doesn't shock me at all.
I've become a fan of both of them.
Well, they're from Ohio. How could you not?
That's why.
Me too, baby. Even KSI, I think he's a big deal as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all big deals. Yeah. They're all like huge. Like my daughter knew who KSI was. I had no idea who KSI was. She was like, "Oh yeah, he's the rap guy or whatever. He does, videos on YouTube."
He's coming out with a rap album.
And guess what, Eric? I'm pretty sure. Eric, I'm pretty sure she doesn't know who Earl Spence is, but she knows who Jake Paul is.
100%. Yeah, she has no idea who Spence is, but she knows exactly.
That's a great point.
Paul, for sure.
That's a great point.
People don't understand that. Like, so when you get those numbers, like 1.3 or whatever, if that's the number, that doesn't shock me. I mean, that doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah,
they're good for boxing. It is, because it brings more eyes here. How many people saw Regis Prograis last night? Didn't know who he was, but now they know. It's huge.
It is. So, what do you guys think about Demetrius Andrade's performance? I think he won the fight. It was pretty easy, but at the end of the day, he did take some punishment. He got hit with some shots that I'm not. I've never seen him get hit like that. I mean, he did get dropped by Vandes Monterosian, but it was only one punch. But in that fight with Liam Williams last night, he kept getting hit. And it looked like his legs wasn't there, Beeb. Do you think Demetrius Andrade lost the step, Beeb?
Here's the thing.
I don't think he lost a step. Do you, Beeb? I don't think he lost a step. I just don't think he may not have been that good.
Here's the thing. He's 33 years old. So the thing is this. When you look at someone who has habits and they continue to display those habits, right? Yeah. Habits become behavior, right? And then after that, the behavior becomes proof. So you could sit there and say, well, he fought like that because of who he was in there with. But if the habits continue to be consistent, then that becomes behavior. And then the behavior becomes proof that, yes, maybe he's not as good as people thought he was. He's a good fighter. He's a championship level fighter, but he's not an elite fighter. He's made to be made out to be this defensive wizard. He's not a defensive wizard, because if you watch him, he makes a lot of mistakes. When he leans forward, he has his shoulders. We're taught in the gym I used to go to, we were always taught, never extend your shoulders over your knees, whether it be forward or backward. When you watch him, when he bends, he pulls back his head and his shoulder when he leans back, and then he gets down so low and he just leans into punches. Okay? His stance is so wide, and because of that, his balance is poor. So when your stance is wide, you're forcing yourself to take longer strides when you move. And because of that, you're increasing the amount of energy, and you're moving more, and you're putting more effort into moving forward or backward than you should. And you're going to tire yourself out that way instead of taking small, subtle steps. This guy does a lot of things that I think someone like Canelo, someone like Charlo, someone like Billy Joe Saunders, someone like Golovkin would exploit. And he hasn't fought anyone on that level. Anyone on that level. At least when you look at Billy Joe Saunders, you could say, you could say he fought Chris Eubank Jr. You could say he fought David Lemieux. You could say he fought what else did he fought? A couple other guys that I can't think of the top of my head. But you look at everyone's resume in this, from 160 to 168. They all have better resumes than Andrade by a mile, by a country mile.
I think, but I'll be honest with you now. And Andrade, and I didn't mean to say Andrade's not good. Andrade is very good, very world-class fighter, world-class fighter.
But he's overrated. But he's overrated.
Right. I think people expect more from him than he can really give, And the thing is, I think that this fight was actually pretty good for him, because I think now opponents will come out of the woodwork and say, hey, you know what? I want to fight that guy next, because I don't think he's got, I don't think he can beat me. So he may have just opened the doors for a lot of better fights for himself.
And G, to answer your question about how did he look, here's the thing. You could be scoring a fight, and at the end of this fight, I did score this fight 9-3 for him. But in a lot of those rounds that he won, he was laboring very hard to win those rounds. He was breathing heavy to win those rounds. He was looking very uncomfortable in winning those rounds. And he barely won a lot of those rounds because a guy like Liam Smith, who was supposed to be nowhere near his level, definitely doesn't have the speed, definitely doesn't have the reflexes, definitely doesn't have the the size or whatever. He had so many disadvantages in this fight going in on paper. He was a 4-1 underdog in this fight, and he rocked Andrade, I want to say it was the 7th or 8th round, and it happened at the end of the round, and he looked hurt, and it almost looked like the ropes held him up at that particular moment. And if he had more time, he could have followed up, maybe knocked Andrade down in that round. I'm not saying he would have stopped him, but here's the thing. Yeah, he's winning these fights, but he's looking very ragged when he's winning these fights. He's looking very worn out in the process of winning these fights. He's breathing hard now. He's 33 years old. He's 6'1". I don't even think he can really make 160 comfortably anymore. I think it's he's hurting himself, just like he was trying to make 154. I think he grows out of these weight classes, but he stays in them too long. He should be fighting at 168 at this point. I think he's growing out of this weight class just like he grew out of 154. But again, he's good. But just because someone's good, and we say they're overrated, that doesn't mean they're not good. That just means they're not as good as advertised. He's not this boogeyman that nobody wants to fight, that everyone's afraid of. I mean, Lara wanted to fight him. That fight was on the table. He turned that fight down. What was that Chudinov fight? Remember that Chudinov fight at 160?
Yeah.
He turned that fight down, And then he was sitting at a table one time with Billy Joe Saunders, and Billy Joe Saunders says, I don't think either one of us is ready for Golovkin right now. You didn't hear him say, I'm ready for him. He didn't refute it. You know what I mean? So I think Golovkin beats him right now. I think Canelo beats him right now.
I don't think Golovkin beats him right now. I think Canelo
now
beats
he
him.
does. I'll tell you why, so? Eric. I'll tell you why. Because Demetrius Andrade is a horrible inside fighter. He's not a good inside fighter. And he doesn't deal well with pressure either. You could see him, he gets pushed back very easily, right? And he likes to hold a lot on the inside. I think Golovkin, I think Derevyanchenko beats him. I think a lot of guys beat him.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. He didn't do himself any favors, I'll tell you that.
Simon Mugia beat him right now.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so, no.
No, but he would
it would be a good fight.
He would push him. He would push him to the limit.
and that was a showcase fight for him last night. Liam Williams was a showcase fight for him last night. Yeah. And he should have wiped this guy, and he almost had him out of there in the second round.
He was mandatory, though, Eric. He was a mandatory.
Right, but it was a showcase fight, though, no? I mean, everybody expected Andrade to win this fight pretty easy.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, everybody expected him to win this fight fairly easy,
At the end of the day, G-Money, I have to ask you this question.
And it wasn't easy. It was his toughest fight, Eric. It wasn't easy. It was his toughest fight. And now, you got to remember, Liam Smith, he beat Liam Williams twice already.
Yeah.
Outboxed him. Pretty easy.
Knocked him out once. One of the fights.
I don't think Andrade legs was there, Beeb. I think the layoff had something to do with his performance.
But he can't
make inactive.
Can't make 160 anymore. Can't make 160 anymore. He shouldn't be fighting at 160 anymore. He should do what Saunders did, move up to 168. He's too big.
Do you think he's ready for a Benavidez at 168?
I think Benavidez beats him. I think
Benavidez crushes him. Yeah.
I think a lot of guys beat him. Here's the thing, G. He hasn't gotten better, and these other guys have gotten better. Now, Golovkin definitely has diminished a bit, but has he diminished enough to the point where a guy like Andrade can beat him? I don't think so. I don't
know. He hasn't looked good in his last couple outings. Not to mention he's been on the shelf for quite a while.
Yeah.
I get, like the Golovkin we're thinking about beats Andrade. I don't know if this Golovkin beats him.
Well, you can make an argument.
I don't know.
I just don't like that. I just don't like the fact of how uncomfortable Andrade looks when someone gets in his chest.
Yeah.
I don't like how he handles the pressure. I don't like how he deals with someone that, when someone gets inside on him. He seems very uncomfortable dealing with someone on the inside.
Yeah.
And that's Golovkin's game.
Okay,
he's a great inside fighter.
He has power too. He's a devastating puncher.
Yes.
Triple G can knock him out. If Liam Williams was able to hurt him, if Vanez Monterosian dropped him, Triple G could cut his lights out. Triple G can knock him out, especially if his legs aren't there. Triple G, he's good at cutting off the ring. He's a master of putting pressure on opponents. So it'll be a tough fight. Hopefully somebody will step up and fight him right now because he is a champion. So now I heard Eric mention, of course, I know you represent Ohio. I seen an Ohio prospect take his first loss yesterday by the name of Otha Jones III. He took his first loss on the zone. Also, another prospect took a loss. A friend of the show, Vito Melanecki, only 18 years old, suffers a devastating loss. Took a lot of punishment in there. If Vito was listening to the show, this is H Money. Keep your head up, man. A true champion can take a loss and bounce back. I think he was rushed. He wasn't ready for an opponent like James Martin. He's still a very good fighter, and I think he can still be a champion one day, to be honest with you guys.
There you go. All right, H Money, we're going to get moving here, man. Thank you so much for the call, as always. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that Vito was rushed. I think he just had a bad night at the office. I really do. And let's face it, that fight could have went either way. It could have been a draw. Could have been, you know what I mean?
I had it 77-75. It could have easily been a draw.
I did think the guy beat. I thought that James Martin fought a really good fight. I thought that James Martin beat him. That being said, listen, man, you're a couple rounds either way.
I just don't think it was a devastating loss. I mean, obviously a loss is not good. No one wants a loss.
Yeah,
but it was not a devastating loss. It's not something you look at and say, "Damn, man,
wow, he
got wrecked." No, he didn't get wrecked. And lost the fight. Lost the fight. 5 round. He lost the fight 5 rounds to 3.
Yeah, it wasn't like anything too crazy. It wasn't like anything nuts.
He didn't get blown out.
No. Also, too, on that PBC card, Omar Juarez beats Elias Araujo. I think Araujo. I don't know. Doesn't matter. He lost. Scores were 98-92 and 99-91 twice. Juarez looked good, man. He did what he had to do. He looked all right. He looked good. Friend of the show, by the way. El Relampago. All right. Let's go to the schedule coming up here. On April 20th, let's see here. Yeah, April 20th. On FS1, Jose Resendez versus Castillo Madera, 8 rounds middleweights. Who's watching that? Come on, man. Stop it. There's let's see here. On April 24th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, Emmanuel Navarrete versus Christopher Diaz, 12 rounds for Navarrete's WBO featherweight title. Edgar Berlanga versus Damon Nicholson, 8-round super middleweights. And that's it for this weekend. That's pretty much it for this weekend. There's a card in Japan. Nobody of note there. Let's see here. So one big one on the ESPN. Listen, I'm not really interested in the Navarrete fight. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I'm going to watch it. But the one I'm looking forward here is Edgar Berlanga versus Damon Nicholson. Is Damon Nicholson enough of a step up for Berlanga?
I don't think it's a huge step up.
I don't think it's a huge step up either. Why are we having this fight, man? I mean, I don't know if he knocks him out in the first round or not. But again, man, like, and I guess, listen, man, at this time, what is he, 16-0, 16 knockouts?
Yeah.
All come in the first round. You got to start stepping this guy up. You have to. You're doing this guy no favors by keeping this first round knockout streak going. This has got to go. This has got to end. And hopefully it ends, hopefully it ends here and the pressure's off him or whatever. But this knockout streak is not good. Everybody, it's not good in a lot of ways. It's just not. He's going to get too used to his power. He's not going to be able to box that way. And when he steps up, he's going to get hurt.
Yeah. They're not preparing him for.
You're not preparing him. Yeah.
For tough situations when they arise, how he's going to have to deal with the adversity.
I agree.
Not being prepared for that. I don't know what's going on in the gym. But I just don't see how these fights can be beneficial to progressing him.
Well, they're not. I mean, that's the thing. You can get a string of knockouts together, okay, but sooner or later he's got to step up in competition.
Yeah,
we can make him 80-0 with all first round knockouts. But again, sooner or later you have to step up in competition.
I agree.
It just is. It is what it is, man.
I totally agree.
All right, so let's go to the news and rumors here. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua have agreed. Beeb, it's all agreed upon. The site, apparently everything has been agreed. They're just ironing out the paperwork and everything like that. I haven't heard a date on this, or I haven't heard anything firm, but the biggest thing is both sides agreed. Eddie Hearn came through, no?
I don't know. Because I heard Tyson Fury on Max on Boxing, I think it was on Wednesday. And Max asked him, how are we looking for this fight? Everything seems like it's a go. And then, Fury confirmed, yeah, we've had the sites, we agreed on the sites, but we're not anywhere closer than we were a week ago. So
clearly they're closer than they were because they agreed on everything.
Well, the words out of his mouth are, I'm still skeptical. And he says, until I'm in that ring, he says, I'm not going to feel comfortable. That's what he said. I don't know if he's bullshitting or not, but
I don't understand like his whole deal. I mean, like in the camp, their whole camp, they're all like down in this fight. Either you want the fight or you don't want the fight.
I mean, I totally get what you're saying because, you got one guy in Anthony Joshua who seems very upbeat about it and he's positive about it. And you got this guy who's negative about it. So I don't know.
And his whole camp is negative about it. So I don't understand it, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm cautious. I'm going to continue to be cautiously optimistic and for one reason and one reason only. And that's Tyson Fury is always going to be the wild card here.
You know what I think? I think Anthony Joshua might beat him. I think Anthony Joshua wants this fight. I think he wants it more than Fury. I don't think Fury wants this fight. I really don't. I think he wants the payday along with it. I think Anthony Joshua might beat him.
I don't think so.
Oh, how dare you?
I mean,
Evander Holyfield and Kevin McBride on June 5th on Triller and the undercard or co-main or main event. I don't know. Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos is also on that undercard. So Teofimo and Kambosos, did you see the presser for these two?
I sent it to you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You did. I mean, is this beautiful or what? I mean, they know how to promote a fight, man.
Teo's doing a good job. Both of them.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, man.
Both of them are doing a good job.
Both of them, they had to get in between both of them. They're in each other's faces barking. Because I could care less about Kambosos. We know Teofimo is going to wipe this fight. It's not going to be close. Makes me want to tune in now. You know what I mean? Now I got to see it. Now I got to see what's going on. Eddie Alvarez says he's in serious talks to face Oscar De La Hoya. This is the guy that says, I want to fight the best out there, and I've done this my whole career. And he's talking with Eddie Alvarez. Nothing against Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez is not a boxer. Plain and simple. There you go.
Well, at least Mike Tyson is fighting other boxers,
right?
Who are on his level and who are great like he was.
Yeah.
So, I guess these MMA guys are going to keep doing it, and the boxers are going to keep doing it because it sells. People are making, they're making money off it. People are buying it. So what are we going to do? I mean, it's not going to go away until people stop buying it. And what did we do? Guilty as charged. I buy them too, so I can't complain.
I bought it.
I can't complain. Guilty as charged. I'm buying them too. So.
Oh. Also, too, I got some news. You remember that guy? Who was the guy who I'm trying to think of his name. I can't remember his name, but he's the guy that quit against Joe Joyce. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, the guy who just quit on the big stage. You remember that, right? The guy who quit.
He had a horrible eye injury that could have been.
Yeah, the guy who quit against Joe Joyce anyway will now get a title shot. All right, his last fight, he quit. He will face Bogan Dinu on June 5th for the interim WBA title. Are you for real?
Are
you for real? I love everybody in the chat's putting Dubois' name down like I actually forgot. Why, Eric? You know who it is.
You do a good acting job sometimes, man.
All right, let's talk about the Showtime schedule. Showtime put out their upcoming summer schedule here. I believe the summer schedule. Is there any more past that? No, it goes up to September. So, yeah, summer schedule.
Yeah.
May 15th. Let's go over these fights, man. Louis Neri versus Brandon Figueroa.
Good fight.
That's a fun fight. I think you got to take Neri, but I think it's a fun fight. This is the fight, man. This is the fight I want to see. I've wanted to see this for the longest time now. Nordine Ubali versus Nonito Donaire.
You always wanted this fight.
All the fights, I want to see this one. This is the one I want to see.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good one.
This is the one I want to see. June 19th, Jamal Charlo versus Juan Montiel.
Horrible fight.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Horrible fight.
June 26th, on pay-per-view, Showtime pay-per-view, of course. Gervonta Davis versus Mario Barrios.
Not crazy about that one.
Not crazy about it.
That's a thumbs down.
July 3rd, Chris Colbert versus Yoriokas Gamboa. Why Yoriokas is still strapping him up, I don't know.
I don't like that one either.
I hate the fight.
That's a bad one.
July 17th, Jermel Charlo versus Brian Castano. This seems to be the fight that everybody really likes. Castano, now he tied. It was a draw with him and Lara, right?
I thought he won, though.
Did he? We all thought he won that fight,
We all thought
right?
he won, yeah. We all thought he won.
Yeah.
It was a bad decision.
Yeah, so that's a good fight, man. That's a good fight.
That's a great fight.
August 14th, Guillermo Rigondeaux versus John Rael Casimero. I'm just lukewarm on that.
I'm gonna put that one in the who cares column.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. Not crazy about it.
I don't like that one either.
August 22nd, David Benavidez versus Jose Uzcategui. The middleweight WBC middleweight super middleweight eliminator.
I don't care about that one.
I'm not crazy about that one either. I think that's a showcase. And Stephen Fulton on September 11th versus the winner of Neri and Figueroa.
Really like that one.
I don't hate that. Because if Neri wins, which we suspect he will, I suspect he will.
So this schedule, out of a scale of 1 to 10, would probably get a 6.5, 7.
I think so. Yeah,
it's about a C. Everyone's going crazy about this schedule. Out of the 9,
great. Yeah,
out of the 9 fights, I like 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. I watch all the fights. And they're good fights. I mean, they've got some good fights on there. Like I said, that Nordine Ubali and Nonito Donaire, that's the fight I want to see. I've been waiting for that for a long time. Luis Neri and Brandon Figueroa, that's a fun fight. Charlo versus Castano, that's a good fight. I mean, but
there's four out of those 9 fights, there's 4 really good fights.
Yeah.
The other ones are kind of meaningless.
Yeah, I could.
Jason's like, the schedule.
My God.
It's an okay. This out of the 9 fights, 4 of the fights are good.
Listen, I don't hate it.
It's an average schedule. It's an average schedule. I like the zone. I like the zone schedule, but I think better because there's more solid fights on that schedule. They released a schedule of 6 fights. I think I liked 5 out of the 6.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Yeah. Oh, and somebody said M-Easy Box said that Lubin and Rosario. There's Erickson Lubin versus Jason Rosario is on the undercard for that Gervonta Davis pay-per-view. I'm not real crazy about that either. I'll be honest with you.
That's an okay one.
All right. I'm not crazy about it though. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that pay-per-view. I'll be honest. That pay-per-view should not be a pay-per-view. But I don't know.
What, the Areola one?
Not well. That goes without saying. But the Davis and Barrios.
Oh yeah, I don't like that one.
Be a Showtime fight. That could just be a Showtime fight. There's no reason to pay for that.
That's. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what PBC's doing there with these pay-per-views, but we'll see. We'll see if it plays out. We'll see if it pans out for him.
Yeah, let me tell you what. Andy Ruiz is no Logan Paul or Jake Paul. I'll tell you that. They ain't pulling in any numbers for that fight.
Well,
that's going to hit the drizzling you-know-whats.
I am interested to see what this version of Andy Ruiz looks like, but I'm not crazy about having to pay $55.
I don't care what. Listen, man, I don't care what Andy Ruiz, what version we get. I could care less. Who's he fighting? Chris Areola. The guy, I mean, listen.
No, I hear you. I just for me, there's a curiosity factor to see, can he come back? You know, he's supposed to be in the best shape of his life. He's supposed to be real lean and mean. I want to see what this lean, mean, Eddie Reynoso trained version of Andrew Ruiz looks like. I'm just curious to see that. Now, am I happy about having to pay $55 to see it? No. And I don't think anyone else is as well, but there still is a little bit of intrigue for me on this fight. I hate the opponent. I feel bad that it's Chris Areola because I think he's going to get hurt, but
yeah,
I'm just curious to see what Andrew Ruiz looks like.
Yeah.
That's just my thing on the whole thing.
Yeah, but that card, that undercard there is not great either.
No, they're not strong cards, neither one of them.
What is it? What did you say the pay-per-view was for that? How much?
55, I heard. Yeah,
55. That's not too bad. I guess it's not bad. It's better than like 80. You know what I mean? That's not bad.
I am desperate. You know that again. It's part of the sickness. You guys have been watching long enough to know that I have a sickness. Okay, I try to. I'm trying to justify in my mind why I should be buying these pay-per-views. And the only thing I can come up with is I'm a loser. There's no way of getting around it.
What are we going to do?
Guilty.
Nothing we can do. Nothing we can do. Nothing we can do.
Guilty as charged.
That's it.
I put my hand up straight in the air.
That's it. That's what
you guys know. You guys should know by now. Don't act surprised when I talk like this.
No. That's how we do it, man. That's all we can do. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on Twitter at ringside73. And we will catch you guys next week.